we gotta go to the ball. And I said, no, we gotta go to bed. And it turned into one of those things where finally, when I got them in their pajamas, and I got them in their bed, and then they needed to drink the water, and then they needed a story, and I told them 2 little girls went to sleep, the end, go to sleep, that's the story. And some of you know what I'm talking about and how this night kind of was going. And it was one of those nights where, why is it that they become such spiritual prayer warriors when it's time to go to sleep? It's because they know Dad will not interrupt the prayer because he'll get zapped by lightning or something. So they start praying for the whole world. And so I'm telling them that night, I literally was saying something like, okay, immediate family only tonight, pray fast, go. So they prayed, and then it was one of those, I love you, I mean it, good night. And I closed the door, and I went down to my little place where I write songs in my studio, and I'm all fuming. It's like, I gotta go get spiritual and write songs about God's love. So I sat down, and I immediately started thinking about my daughter, Emily, my oldest daughter, who's away at college at the time, and I'm thinking, you know what, I just blew it. Because Emily, I don't get to do this with her anymore. I don't get to read her stories and tuck her in and all that stuff. And here I had this moment, and I blew through it because I was in too big of a hurry and I was all frustrated. God, help me not to do this. And so before I knew it, in about an hour's time, I had written a song. Just sitting there with my guitar, tears in my eyes, I wrote a song called Cinderella, just to encourage me to just be there in those moments and not miss it. Well, you can understand. This song was an immediate hit in our family with my daughters because, first of all, it had Cinderella in the song, and it was about them. And so on May the 22nd or 3rd, just a couple of days after Maria went to heaven, I remember literally saying to my wife, I don't know what's going to happen. I don't know if I ever can get on stage and sing. There's so much mystery and what's going on in my heart right now, and just what am I going to be able to say or sing again as we walk through this valley. But one song I don't imagine I'll ever be able to sing, and that is the song Cinderella. And well, fast forward just about 2 months, it was July 11th, and I was standing on stage the first time since Maria had gone to heaven, and I was singing, and I was sharing, just pouring out my heart, and I was listening to the words that I was singing, and I was thinking about all the things over the years that I've sung, and all that we say we believe, all of these things that you're hearing at this Women of Faith conference. All that was going through my heart as I was standing in front of people, kind of doing what I'm doing tonight, with a lot of tears and very, very broken. But I began to think, because I had not planned to sing that song, but I began to realize that night again, something that is so important tonight as we talk about faith and that journey. And I realized that if what I've been singing all these years is true, if God really is God, and if God is who He says He is in the Bible, if He's not, then first of all, I don't have any business being up here. In fact, we should close this whole thing down. But if it really is true, if God really is God, then according to His word and His promises, as sure as I'm standing here tonight with you, I will see again my little girl. I will dance again with my Cinderella. This is God's promise. This is our hope. It's our future. It's what our faith is all about. Paul says, if we only have hope for this life, I kind of see that to mean if we just have hope to get a better life here and get it as comfortable as we can, maybe figure some things out. If that's our hope as Christians, then we're foolish. He says we're to be pitied. Because our hope, no matter how good we get it here, in this world you will have trouble. But take heart, I've overcome the world. And there is a day that's coming when He has promised to make everything new, to make everything right, to wipe every tear from our eyes. This is the promise of our God. This is our hope. And I realized that night, it's like Martin Luther says, he says there's only 2 days that matter, really. It's that day that's coming, and then it's this day right now. The rest of them we can't do anything about.